How's everybody doing tonight? This is Moe Factz Live, late night live, and this is Soul to Lemon, the episode. Y'all let me know how I'm sounding out there tonight. I'm gonna go through speak to a couple people. Carter Make Way One was up in here first. Stephen Page, Jay, Natasha, Lindsay H, Carlos, how you doing? Emmanuel, Mike, Chaz, David, Big Chef, Big Elvis, the chef. Hey, chef, they got me charged tonight, bro. I'm trying to say how you always say it. They get me lit when you say that. They got me charged. And I am charged with this one. This episode is especially close to my heart. David Fox, Tasha, how you doing? Brian, Pocket Full of Dinero Beats. What's up? Spanx, Eric, TD, Quasi, David Fox, Sophisticated Ignorance. What's up, bro? Let's see. All right, so we crystal clear. All right, so as you can see on the screen, we have Mr. Donald, excuse me. We have Mr. Peachy Sweets 80. How you doing? One of my day ones, Purple Neck. So we got Mr. Donald Lemon, and he has a lot to say about the people that won't take the Vaseline, if you know what I'm talking about. So we're gonna see what he has to say, and we're gonna be fair, nuanced, balanced. We're not gonna seek to dehumanize people, but at the same time, we have to be cautious about what these people are saying and the attitude that comes along with it. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to this first clip. This is him, and this is when he first started his rants about how people should be restricted if they won't take the Vaseline. So let's get right into that.
I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to the ball game. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You don't have the vaccine, can't come here. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's where I think we should be right now, because we continue to waste our breath on people who are just not going to change. They're, circular logic. They just keep going back and saying, well, it's my freedom, it's whatever. I'm free. Well, your kid's not free to give other kids.
It's my freedom, it's whatever. And we saw this with Arnold. These people that supposedly upheld freedom and, 45 Savage was a dictator and all this and that. But then as soon as, that is something they don't like, they're willing to take people's freedom away so easily. Y'all make sure that, that's the first video I'm playing for the night, so y'all make sure the sound is right. Y'all hit me with a 2 if the sound ever goes bad or if it's low so I can catch the attention. Yeah, so you heard what he said, freedom or whatever. So let's go ahead and let him finish talking to Chris Cuomo, whose brother has some issues up there in New York. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. All right, let's finish this clip.
Kids, meningitis in schools. You got to take a vaccine to do that. You got to take vaccines in order to be employed. So what is the big deal? And all these people are saying, I don't want to put this stuff in my body. They're out drinking on the weekend and putting other substances in their bodies. That's way worse for them than a vaccine. So come on, let's be real.
Yeah, look, there are people who have health exceptions. I think they're the very pronounced minority.
So that's when he was first coming out for people. Oh, you can't have a job. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't eat. It's amazing. And specifically for black people, this is seen as another form of segregation where you can't move freely and exercise your daily exercise during your daily activities without being accosted or restricted. But Mr. Donald Lemon, he just feel like he can say whatever he wants to. So let's get into the next video.
Tonight with its big star, D. Lemon. Sorry I ate into the time there, but I had...
No, it's very important. You don't have to...
Hold on. And see, what's crazy is it's never enough. He already said you can't go to the grocery store, you can't eat, you can't work, you can't, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for Mr. Donald Lemon. Listen what he say next, y'all. Watch what he say next.
Point. You don't have to tell me. Listen, here's how I feel about that.
How you feel, Don? Tell us how you feel.
If you're not going to get vaccinated, you don't want to social distance, you don't want to wear a mask.
Wait a minute, Don. I think people are okay with social distancing. Hey, I'm for real. I'm OG social distancer. OG from the beginning, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I'm the type of person, hey, give me my 3 feet. I was always like that. I shouldn't be in arm's reach of you. I work with people that sometimes they're from other places, different cultures, and they don't respect the social distance, So I find myself pre-Rona, I would have to back up and be like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? You too close. If I could feel your breath on me, you too close. So I'm OG social distancer. And about the mask, I'm the person like this. Look, if I'm running out, if I'm going to be in the store right quick, I put the mask on. It's not because I believe it's going to help or harm. If I can make a little old lady feel comfortable, it's nervous or whatever, I'll do it. Now, at the same time, if I'm running to the store to grab something from the corner store and I forget it, I'm not going all the way back to the house to get get my mask. I'm just going to run in the store, do whatever I need to get, and bounce out. So, I mean, there's nuance to this, but, he wants to conflate those two things with the choice of what people putting in their body. And that's where we disagree at. Let's let Don continue.
Then maybe you don't want to go to the hospital when you get sick. I know that sounds...
Don't go to the hospital if you get sick. And you know what? This is why I heard this meme cropping up in the YouTube circles a couple weeks ago. Shout out to my man, Young Grunt. I don't know if he in here or not. But I had to hit him up, like, hey, bro, I'm seeing this meme crop up of, if you don't take the Vaseline, don't go to the hospital if you get sick. And honestly, this really irked me. And along with that, the people were saying, you're dumb, you're stupid. And these are so-called men that's supposed to be helping other men. But talking down to them for their personal choices of how they do. I mean, that's what they say, my body, my choice, right? So these men, and look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not anti-Vaseline. I'm pro-choice. If you feel like it's best for your situation, if you had to take it, it's people that need to take it to move about and travel and do these things, I'm all for you. If you're the only person that you're the breadwinner in your house, you don't have any other streams of income, you're like, hey, bro, I got to do this for myself. I got to do this for my family. More power to you. I'm going to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you choose not to, it's bad enough. That's not good enough. Now they're saying don't go to the hospital if you get sick. Just let that soak in for a minute. Don't go to the hospital if you get sick. That's crazy. What are we saying here? And that's why I had to call extremists out like Mr. Donald J. Lemon. But let's go ahead and let him finish speaking.
Harsh, but you're taking up the space for people who are doing things the right way. You and I both agree on this is going to be between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Moving
binary, right there. It's going between the Vaseline and the non-Vaseline. That sounds very similar to 1960s, the white and the colored. Sounds very similar. What do y'all think? Y'all think that sounds very similar? It sounds very similar to me, where it's a binary choice. And look, and this is kind of yeah, exactly. Thank you, Judy. Right, exactly. Look at Judy said. Now, look at them eyes. See, Don, I gotta be careful what I say here. Don is being puppeted, and he's a sock puppet, and somebody has his hand. Somebody has their hand puppeting Don, and only one way a puppeteer can be puppeted. But let's let him continue. And the crazy thing is, Chris is a survivor. He beat it. So it's not like, oh, you can't beat it, you can't win. Come on, but let's let Donald finish.
Forward in this country. And I just think if you don't want to play by any of those rules and then all of a sudden you end up in the hospital, I feel bad.
See, and look, he conflated it again. If you don't want to play by any of those rules, Don, we playing by the rules. I'm an OG social distancer. OG, give me my 3 feet, okay? You want 6? Give me 6. That's even better. Don't walk up on me. All right. 2, you want me to wear the mask? I'll wear the mask. You know what I'm saying? Because I look, I'm the type of person, and I know certain people out there are trolls. They do things just to get a rise out of people. I'm the opposite. You know what I'm saying? If I could put people at comfort, I try to do that in most part, you know, because you see it might, and let's be honest on the other side. Let's be honest. If you walk into a establishment, you don't have a mask, the older people look at you funny. I mean, not funny in a bad way, but they're like, because look, let's be honest. The older people out here are the number one victims of this issue. So I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want to put worry on them. So if I can do something to make them feel more comfortable, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Just out of being a good person. But don't conflate those two things with the choice of putting Vaseline inside my body. Don't do that. All I ask is to be respected. That's all we all are asking. We have our own reason for doubts, especially in our community. Especially in our community. We have our reasonings. And it ain't Tuskegee. Let's talk about Depo-Provera. Let's let Don continue on.
Bad that but maybe you shouldn't go and take up the resources from someone else. That's it. So you don't have to apologize for taking up the time. I
feel so bad for him. You know, our kids are almost the same age. 3 girls he has, obviously we got the 2 girls and Mario, but 18, 16, and 9, their mother fighting like that. The father feeling like the only thing he could do is just plead to people to understand what they're doing, what they're taking from families. That time is so precious. Stage 4 cancer, any time you can get with your kids at that age, with your husband.
Yep.
I just don't know what's going to get through to people. I mean, it just destroys me that whole life is forever changed by something that didn't have to happen. I'm not saying that that's why this woman succumbed to cancer, but I'm saying the end is.
So what are you saying? You've said all that emotional triggering propaganda, for lack of a better word, to sway somebody's heart and pull on somebody's heartstrings. But then you say, oh, it's not, I'm not saying that. You're right. And then, right. And Judy, right. Let's see what some people are saying. We said, but our small majority that makes decisions and vote in our community that we all don't agree on. Right. Exactly, De Niro. And that's the thing. Like, right. Oh, and Obama, they throwing parties, big parties. And once again, look at these eyes, man. Look at these eyes, bro. This is a sick person. And I don't say that with any glee or any joy. I don't say that when, but something's off with Don. Something's very off with this man. Excuse me, Donald. Let's continue.
So important.
But let me tell you, from having experience, listen, you had COVID. I think do you agree that you have long haul as well, right?
I absolutely
Okay.
still have stuff.
So you understand it. I understand it from visiting the hospitals with people. I've seen the COVID wards. They weren't COVID wards until a short time ago. And every single person who works there, from the head of the hospital on down to the person the people who are really keeping things going, who are cleaning up the mess, if you know what I mean, I won't be graphic about that. Every single person will tell you they're exhausted.
The people that clean up the mess. And this is what they do. They will act like they're so sanctimonious and they can speak for the little man. You see, the people that clean up the mess, bruh. And they do this. They talk about people that they talk at and not to. They might stop, let me have a quick conversation. Then they act like they fully represent everything and they know everything these people are feeling. And a lot of these people, or I'm not going to say a lot because I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure some of these people face the same concerns that he's speaking against. And he's telling them, don't go to the hospital. Let's see what facts. She said, I wear it to make others feel comfortable, and I have small children. I have to model it a little bit, so they'll do it in situations that we don't have so much choice, like flying on an airplane. Right, being a good example. I mean, that's you don't willfully make people uncomfortable unless it is necessary. Sometimes you have civil disobedience. I understand that. But at the same time, if you can make other people around you feel comfortable, I think that's the best way. But let's continue on. Let them finish up this clip.
They barely have time to take off to spend with their own families. They're worried about catching COVID and a different variant. It is putting a stress and
hold on, but Don, they're having to be overworked because a lot of the workers in the hospital, a good amount of the workers in the hospital, are having to choose between their livelihood and taking something that they don't trust. It's about trust. Nobody has sold us on the Vaseline. Nobody has showed us how great it is. It's been by force, by shame. And that's the other thing we want to talk about is sign language. That walked me right into it. Sign language. Now let me pull this up right quick. And it's something that easy. I'm about to trigger some people by mentioning his name, but Kevin Samuels brought up, and like I said, sign language. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. Now, I don't know if he coined this term, but I know he brought it to my attention and it hit spot on because that's exactly what's happening here. They're shaming, they're insulting, they're guilting, and now we need to be right. And if you're not right, you shouldn't even have access to health care. So what about the people that took it? They're still getting sick. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this up. It's a bigger thing of society losing compassion for each other. This is very, very, very scary to me when we have people saying that other people shouldn't get help even though they made a bad decision. And I'm going to go somewhere with that. That talking point. It's not even a talking point, but a point of emphasis I want to make. But let's go back to some of the comments here. Natasha said, I'd like to point out about being comfortable. I never considered that. I was so full of resentment and anger, and it's exhausting, and that's where they want you at. They want us resentful of people and their choices to say, hey, there's some middle ground here. If you forget your mask and you go into the 7-Eleven, you don't treat me like a walking biohazard. But at the same time, if I could be thoughtful and mindful, then, let me grab this mask right quick. And I'm going to be honest with you. If we talked about nocebo effect, placebo effect. I'm a firm believer that stuff starts in our mind, stuff starts in our thoughts. if you're feeling more, I think the mask has something more. It's a cycle. This is just my opinion, but you feel safer. You feel more relaxed. Sometimes it makes you a little anxious, with stuff on your face. I don't really like it for a long period of time, but if I'm going somewhere and being direct with where I'm going, my movements, I'll throw it on. Or I'll find other means for getting something I need. But yeah, just keep that in mind, Natasha. De Niro said, Mo, a lot of media, government influencers are control bots that have double talk and contradict constantly. Yeah, of course. Emmanuel said, yeah, because the Vaseline is untested gene. Yep. GT. they're passing off as a cure. And that's the thing. It's just, maybe it is a great product. Maybe it isn't. But it haven't seen enough to know either way. So you can't shame me or make me feel guilty or insult me with names. And like I said, I've heard brothers call other brothers. It's one specifically, but I'm not going to say names just out of, not being messy like that. But calling brothers dumb and stupid. And it's like, most of the people that are hesitant have done the homework. And that's why they don't feel comfortable. It's like, if you have such a great product, and let's take it out of this. If you have such a great product, sell the person on the product and what it can do for them. I could come up here and tell you, I make the best show, podcast, live stream, but I don't have the proof, then I'm just talking. But if I let my show, my live streams, the stuff I put together speak for itself, then you're saying I don't have to do a bunch of talking. Let's go through some more of these comments. And man, y'all active in the chat, and I like to see that. Let's see here. I saw one. Yeah, sign language. Here we go. Sign language is a real problem, but I just turn around and show them more love and pray. Also read the Bible. Right. And that's the thing. We can't meet their shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right with matching them with shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. And that's why I'm a firm believer in, and y'all hear me talk about it all the time, the 7 habits. This is what I live my life by. And one of them is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Understand why somebody will come at you like that. Maybe they lost a loved one. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We can't poo-poo somebody's feelings away, but at the same time, that doesn't give you the right to infringe on other people's choices. What did he say? Word of the day? At word of the day, nice, you got me. I wonder what word of the day said. What did he say? What did he say? Okay. See, everybody being sarcastic. It ain't that serious. It's not that serious, man. I mean, we're not gonna let them do this to us. We're not gonna let them. Tear us apart, because that's what they're trying to do. And I covered this on the last one on crate bait. And if you didn't hear it, you're saying go back. They want to divide us. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to divide us, and we're ripe for the divide. We can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. So we may have to be the bigger people to be the one to seek first to understand. Seek first to understand where people are coming from. That way, what it does, what it really allows you, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. Don't tell nobody. What it allows you to do is to be in a position to communicate better with the person that you're either, for lack of a better word, having a conversation with, or we want to use it as a debate. You see where their talking points are. It's like, okay. And if you're really, I had this thought the other day. Do we speak to reach, or do we speak to be right? I'm going to say that again. Do we speak to reach, or do we speak to be right? If we speak to reach, then we want to seek first to understand, because it's like, how do I reach this person? What is the best way to reach this person? If we speak to be right, and this is how we fall into sign language, the need to be right. So it's like, oh, I'm just gonna, oh, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him with this point. Ooh, I got a new fact. I'm gonna bust him over the head with it. And where does it get you? You insult that person with your need to be right, and we have a lost opportunity for communication. And if you can make that person understand where you're coming from and you understand where they're coming from, then you can find middle ground, and then we can have some nuanced conversation and not be reactionary. Let's go back to the comments right quick before we continue. I got a lot of clips, so I got to keep moving here. Let's see. I appreciate that, Judy. Yeah, it just came to me. It's like, do we, when we, and let's just take it outside of anything. Do we speak to reach or do we speak to be right? And then if you're speaking to be right, then you're falling into sign language. And most of the time, you're going to use those first three letters, the shame, the insult, and the guilt, to accommodate that need to be right. Chaz, what you got going on here? You said you could tell people to get but can't tell people to improve their health, reduce their weight, to be. And there's a CEO that actually lost their job because they talked about how being healthy and your weight plays a fact into this. I appreciate that, and look, the reason why I'm doing this is, De Niro, the reason why I'm doing this is there are families being divided right now. There are people not talking to people right now. So let me show you, if I wanted to be like Don, and I'm done with that clip. I'm just saying, if they don't say too much more about that. Let's see where we at. We're on clip number 4. I'm going to show you an example of how people used to be. Now, Don is in a certain community, right? And in that community, HIV was rampant and when it first came about. So there were some people that thought that HIV/AIDS was a punishment for their life choices. You see the parallel I'm drawing here? When I'm drawing here, the parallel I'm drawing here. So we have Kay Warren here. She's the wife of Rick Warren, out of Saddleback Church, and she's going to speak on punishment for homosexuality.
Unfortunately, I think there are some people who still believe that. I wish I could say that that is an idea that's completely gone and nobody thinks that way anymore. But I think if people would be completely honest, there are those who still think that. And all you have to do is look at, you'll see people still picketing with those kind of signs every once in a while, and it really makes me angry. And I have to say that I sort of fit into that category for a long time. Part of my ignorance was I didn't realize how big it was. I didn't understand how big the HIV problem was. And the part where I was just absolutely wrong was I thought that it was a gay man's disease. And in my view at that moment was that excused me for having to care. I was so wrong. I mean, I was completely wrong. And as I began to study and research, I realized, first of all, it's not a gay man's disease. More women than men are infected around the world. But I had to do some, in religious terms, I had to do some repenting. I had to do some apologizing. I had to do some, I cried a lot of bitter tears at my own hard-heartedness because I don't think that's God's view at all.
And that's the point, hard heart. That's what that's what they want us at. This is how conflicts start, is the hard heart. When you get two sides of people that get a calcified heart and don't see the human in the other person, this is how we get to this point. And with that hard heart, it's like, well, let them die. I mean, that's how people used to talk about people with AIDS until they had somebody in their family that got it. Till it was your auntie, till it was your uncle, till it was your cousin that maybe used dirty needles. Right? Then you found a place of compassion. It's like, oh, let me look at this thing a little differently. I love my auntie, But, we can't deny the fact as well. I mean, it was rampant and affecting certain communities at the time when it first hit the scene more than others, and it still is. And we're going to get into that a little later, but let's let Kay go ahead and finish about her hard heart.
All. I don't think that if you look at the pages of Scripture, Old Testament and New Testament, God is clearly tells his people to care for the sick. Clearly, over and over and over, he tells us to care for the sick. And when you get to the New Testament, you just won't ever find Jesus asking somebody, so tell me, how did you get sick? What did you do? Did you put yourself at risk? Did you do anything wrong that has led you to be sick? You just won't find it. You'll find Jesus always saying, how can I help you? And so for me, the repenting and the changing of my mind and my heart was to say, first of all, to God, I haven't represented you well. I haven't even understood.
And that's the only thing, and like I said, I don't want to make it a religious conversation, but I want to say the only person you really can change in life is yourself. Look, I got 4 kids. And even with them, I can correct them, I can discipline them. At the end of the day, I can't even change their minds. Hell, we even have trouble changing our own minds, changing our own habits, changing our own behaviors. So who gives us the audacity to think that we can change other people? That's a very, and the way you change people is by example. If you live in a certain way, you start to eat right, you start to get healthy. And saying people see your results, they'll be more motivated by that than guess what, than your words. Because if you give them empty words and you're not doing any better yourself, then they say, hey, why ain't you doing it if it's so great? Exactly, Raul. Start with the man, Mike, and that was a great song by Mike. Start with the man in the mirror. Start with the woman in the mirror. Okay, Golden Child, it seems like you're an extremist. Because I'll say this right here. And like I said, I'm not going to have a biblical discussion with you, but I think we're also taught, you seem like you're a believer, I'm a believer, that we should have compassion for other people. And it says we wrestle with not flesh and blood. So I'm just gonna leave that there because that's how we get sidetracked. And not saying that's your personal opinion. I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect it because it's your opinion. Let's continue going on. Atomic Apologetic says, hey, Mo, people are just selfish and prideful, and it's our nature. Let's see. It says, bro, we can't change no one mind, even our children. That's why influence is a big key, right? Because they show them what, De Niro? They show them results from their actions. They show us results for their actions, from their actions, and then it's like, so, okay, I mean that's fine. Golden Child, you sound like you got a lot of hate in your heart, bro. That's not good. I mean, I'm gonna pray for you. I mean, I don't say that facetiously, because some people say that as an insult, but hard heart don't get us nowhere in life. So I'm done with the K clip, and now I just want to point that out. We're running a little bit behind, but just to go to show to Don's point that even in his community, those people that are getting it, they wanted to do better, but there were some people actively seeking to be infected, and they were called bug chasers. You don't believe me? Well, let's talk about it. Let's get into this clip. And this is Kaz Mann, the founder of Positively Healthy.
There's this urban myth, or perhaps urban truth, about bug chasing, where someone...
Hey, hold on, Golden Child. Don't go nowhere right quick. Hold on. Hold on. Let me pin this up here. I got a question for you when we get back. Okay.
One who's HIV negative goes out to deliberately infect themselves with HIV. And when I first came across this many years ago, I thought, can't be.
So let's clearly define what a bug chaser is. A bug chaser is somebody that clearly goes out and tries to contract the disease. And the reason why I'm drawing this is say there's the parallel of that somebody goes out and doesn't wash their hands, doesn't wear a mask, practices poor hygiene, these things like that, right? They fit all the comorbidities, everything else, and they just seeking to contract whatever's out here. Let's go.
Can't be right. But then I went online and there were several websites where people who claimed to be HIV negative wanted to meet sexual partners, but only sexual partners who were HIV positive. And so this wasn't a myth, it was a truth. A film was made about it called The Gift, about bug chasing. And the man who made the film, which premiered at the London Lesbian and Gay Film Festival quite a few years ago, was subject to opprobrium, ridicule, and abuse.
Okay, and ASAP Atheist, you said no, not bug chasing is different. No, I'm drawing is a parallel of somebody that did all those things to prove that, to catch it. So just say if it was a person that was like that, somebody said toilet seat liquor. Say they licked toilet seats, they did all this crazy stuff, to want to catch it. Okay, that would be the equivalent of what we're saying a bug chaser is. So I'm just drawing parallels here. Let him finish.
For having even dared to raise this question in public. But he said it's legitimate because it's already online. People can already, with a few clicks, find out what's going on. Bug chasing is a very real phenomenon. There are people out there who want to let the other shoe drop, who don't want to wait to become infected, but who want to end the wait now. And the way you end the wait is go out and get infected, then the other shoe has dropped, you can relax. So bug chasing.
And the crazy thing, I can understand that logic if that's how they're looking at it, because if you give me the choice between taking the Vaseline and just go ahead and get it out the way like they used to do with the chicken pox or whatever else, like, hey, let's just have a chicken pox party and catch it. Hey, I'm going to have the chicken pox party. Because I rather, my natural abilities fight it off. There's some man-made chemical. That's just my opinion, though. It should not be entitled to my opinion. From that aspect, if they knew it's a for certain thing to happen, hey, look, it is what it is. I understand it from that point, but it gets a little deeper than that. Let's continue on.
Israel. It's happening in your neighborhood. It's happening to someone you know. They are going to become HIV infected. It's happened to, well, I can't say hundreds, but it's happened to at least 30 people I know who've become infected that way, who've come to my workshops, who said this is the way they got infected. And in almost every single case, they say they wish they hadn't. That if they could go back and rewrite that moment, they would not do it. Although the other shoe dropped, they didn't know the consequences that would follow. They thought everything would be easy, and it's not. Everything changes, nothing is the same once you're HIV positive. You can't go back. They can't take it away. And every single one of those boys and men says, I wish I hadn't. But they can't undo it. And so bug chasing is real. It's still going on today.
And as they saw, even these people, they thought they wanted to do that, but once they got it, they found out that it was a bad choice. but they had that right to that choice. Now, Golden Child, I'm going to come back to you since you're so vocal. And, bro, if you want to get up here, hit me on my social media. Moe Factz, DM. I'll get you up here, and we can talk about it. Is it Moe Factz DM on Instagram or either on Instagram or Twitter? Look me up, Moe Factz. I'll get you up here and we can talk about this. But you're trying to tell me, see, because you're, and I got to be fair, you're sounding a lot like Don Lemon to say these people shouldn't get health care. See, I would never be that hard-hearted, even though these people, and this is the most extreme. We're talking about the most extreme case that people went out and sought to get the virus. And I still wouldn't want to see them without health care. I wouldn't want to see them denied access to a hospital, even though they got that way by their own choices. And they intentionally sought out that disease. I would never be that hard-hearted. Please come up. I'll bring you in at the end of the show. But for right now, you know what I'm saying, we're going to rock on because guess what? We don't do extremists over here. Because they play one extreme off the other extreme. Have you not been listening to me? And I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to everybody. They're playing the extremes off of each other, people. That's why I did get a crate bait like I did and go watch the crate bait, you know what I'm saying, only clips. That's another thing I'm doing from these lives. I know we need to get the word out to people. Sometimes a 2-hour video might be daunting to them. So what we want to do is get on, you know what I'm saying, get into their, what do you say what? And like I said, we're not going to let it sidetrack the show. So let's get, what I'm saying is, okay, so you think this is an older video, and this, you might say, well, that's a white community. That's a white thing. Oh, that must be white. That's a white thing. Let's listen to this brother, and this brother is named Damian Carter, and he's in the community, and he's still, and this is 2014, confirms that bug chasing still goes on today.
With that said, today's topic, bug chasers. Bug chasers. Damien, what's a bug chaser? Well, historically, bug chasers are men who would long to be given the gift. What does that mean? Okay. For those of you who want to know what the gift is, it's HIV. Bug chasers are men who long to be bred with the diagnosis of HIV, as if becoming positive is an awakening or an anointing factor in their lives, or something that will introduce some kind of liberation in their life. Now, I'm not talking about every gay man that's ever been diagnosed with HIV. Let me be very clear about that. Almost fell. No, seriously. There are men whom have been attacked and taken advantage of, and their virtue and their virginity or their negative status has been taken from them by force. We're not talking about them. I'm also not talking about the men who've made the conscious decision not to use condoms. I know.
So we're not talking, so let's be clear. And that's why I use this clip. We're not talking about the people that may have been attacked or anything like that. And we're not talking about the people, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, just didn't use. We're talking about people that actively seeking to get the disease. And I still wouldn't have the opinion that Don Lemon has of people that don't want to take the Vaseline, the unproven, unknown long-term effects Vaseline. Hey, how you doing, Andrea? So, yeah. So we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is people that actively sought to be and get infected, and I still won't have a hard heart I still won't have a hard heart. I still won't be extremist to those people. So why is it okay to be extremist towards us? Why? Why is that okay? Why can't people's opinions be respected? And even if you make a mistake, you make the wrong choice, you still have access to what needs to help you. Let's go.
Many men who've said in my lifetime, Damien, I hate using condoms because my dick goes south when I use a condom. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a specific subset of men that seek out positive men with a significant viral load that will infect them consensually. Many times in the 1990s at least, you would find many people having conversion parties where they were often gangbanged without...
Hold on, conversion parties, could that also be like a super spreader event? Could it not be a super spreader event? Okay, let's continue.
Condoms or just having a large amount of sex with positive men in order to get the gift. I was recently approached by a man on Facebook by the name of Pretty Ricky, who would get off on asking me, do you like to fuck negative bottoms? And it reminded me about...
Excuse the language, y'all.
Those time periods in the 1990s when guys would talk about wanting to be bred or wanting to be infected or wanting to be given the gift. And it makes me stop and think, are these people still existing in 2014? Really? And I had to stop and ask myself, yes, because even as recent as last year, unrelated topic, but I had a man tell me, I want a man that will have an STD fuck me.
Hold on. Let's go ahead and get this out the way now. Hey, Golden Child, are you going to contact me on Twitter or Instagram? I'm checking my DMs now. Let's go ahead and get him up here. So we can go ahead and get this over with, and we can, because maybe this, no, I'm not reaching, bro. I'm not reaching. The point I am making is, let me be very extra clear to you. And I'm going to wait for you, to, hit me on my DMs so I can drop you this link so you can join up here and we can get, no, I'm not moving on for this. This is my channel. Maybe you need to move on for this, because what I'm saying is, if I can show compassion for a person, that intentionally infected themselves or sought to be infected, why is it people cannot be shown compassion to be helped at a hospital because they don't want to fucking trust an unproven chemical? So I will not move on from this. How sick in the head do you gotta be? Not you, but for Donald Lemon to get on television and say people that don't trust the medical system, that looked at black people like they had... No, he didn't win, because I have to emphasize my point. Matter of fact, there is no point. You're a troll. You had your opportunity to come up here. I don't see you in my DMs, but I'm letting you know. Of course you never see me cuss, because the fact is we can't get to this point. I won't allow it. And that's what we do with trolls. But see, and that's what exactly. I'm gonna talk about God for a minute. What the devil mean for bad, God mean for good, and I blocked him. But see, the point is right here. We can't allow people to dehumanize other people. That's my point. And that's why I engage with him. Because you see, I try to seek first to understand, then to be understood. There's no compromising with extremists. And this channel is not for extremists. What we try to do is humanize people, find nuance in the conversation so we can reach common ground. So at the end of the day, you know what? Somebody can walk away and say, you know what? These people, they made that choice, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to see them die on the street. I will never be okay. I swerve for squirrels. I could easily say, oh, that squirrel had it coming to him out here in my street when I'm driving. I digress. Let's keep going. But no, that's why I engaged a person like that. Exactly, Chad. Exactly. Lack of empathy is justification to conquer and kill. We can never, ever, never, ever, never stop having compassion and empathy for another human being, no matter if they put it on themselves or not. You see families forgive killers that kill their family members. So no, I don't. Like I said, I'm not angry. I'm passionate about this because I'm seeing families divided. I'm seeing families not talking to each other. I'm seeing somebody said before, I'm seeing grandparents denied the chance to see their grandchildren. You feel what I'm saying? I'm seeing people look at people like they dirty and they're nasty. Exactly, Raul. This is how these things start. You always look back in history and be like, how did they get to that point? How did they get to the point where they just started offing each other? This is where it starts, folks. This is where it starts. Let's continue on. And the reason why I say about this is there was a time, I'm going to play a clip I got, you're saying, from Magic Johnson. Somebody brought Magic Johnson up. There was a time where people didn't want to play basketball with Magic Johnson because for the disease he allegedly had. Now I say allegedly because I have some thoughts that may not be, congruent with with what people think in the mainstream. Somebody made the point earlier that yes, HIV/AIDS became a heterosexual disease when Magic Johnson got it. But at that time, it was certain players that did not want to play with Magic. There were certain players that did not even want to be on the same court as Magic. Yeah, right. Atomic Apologetics. Yeah, he says he remember. That's why he forced to retire, and then he came back. But it was like, no, I don't want to play with him because that was out of a place of ignorance. Yeah, and like I said, all right, it is what it is. We've seen this before where they use people as propaganda tools to push agendas to make things mainstream. So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding with Magic. I believe, allegedly, I think, I speculate, and whatever else you want to, a precursor you want to put on there. But let's just look and see the nature of what was going on at this time.
Now, there are no players from the Orlando Magic here, but there has been plenty of Magic here in Orlando. Magic Johnson, that is. 3 months ago, he announced his retirement from the NBA after testing positive for the HIV virus. But he was voted by the fans as one of the starting guards for the Western Conference Stars. His presence in Orlando has been the source of much discussion, and his every move, obviously, has been well documented. He was the first player in town showing up at the arena on Thursday to work on his game. Throughout the weekend, he's been giving autographs, holding press conferences, trying to get a message across.
I have to be out there for myself, and I have to be out there for a lot of people who are, whether they have a disease, whether they have a handicap, whatever they have, and let them see that they can carry on and still live and don't have to feel like they're different.
Most players have approved of Magic's presence here, but Charles Barkley suggested that maybe Johnson should step aside and let some of the lesser-known players get some attention.
Now, unfortunately, it's going to take away a lot of publicity from the guys who have had great first half of the season.
They don't normally let retired players play, and if that's the case, then they need to stick with the way they've set the rules and everything. But in the case of, in this particular case, if they're creating another spot and not taking away a spot from another player, personally, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Negative reaction, at least publicly, has been rare. The players understand it's a very sensitive issue.
I don't think anybody should be insulted by people asking those questions or having those questions. The worst thing that can happen is people go around whispering it. But when you ask those questions and the medical people come out and they answer those questions, then hey, let the guy play, let's get out here and have some fun and let the fans see what they want to see.
Yeah, and him and Isaiah used to have some very they had a very unique pregame ritual when they used to play with each other where they would kiss. And the reason why I remember that because my dad would comment on it every time he would see that. But let me share something with y'all, because this is what I'm talking about, how the media works. To this day, let me show y'all something right quick. This is from the CDC itself. I'm showing you. You can see here, and this is 42% Black African-American people made up 42% of the new HIV diagnosis in 2018. Look at this, male to male, hetero, right? Male to male is 3 times what, roughly 2 to 3 times what hetero is. Women, right? That's the two groups. Look at these numbers. This is at the CDC. I'll try to put this in the link in the comments so you can look at it over more. But what the point I'm trying to make is, even still, with Don Lemon knowing this, and he's part of this community, and he know how his community was treated, they have no problem with castigating people the same way people in his community is castigated. There was same conversation being had where they brought it on themselves. They don't deserve to, infect other people and dirty up our hospitals and these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, see, and guess what? I'm gonna make a quick aside here. They're still making black men the face of AIDS today, still, with their commercials. And I just want to show you this because, I this is just a little aside, but I want to make sure people see how they use this.
I'm on the pill.
And this is for Trudova. And now look who they get to represent the AIDS. Now we just said 42% of all new cases in 2018 were black. And nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about this. But yet and still, and Don Lemon's in the community, and he doesn't talk about this. But now he's the expert on infectious disease all of a sudden.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill too.
But it's not birth control. It's Truvada for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine for adults that, when taken every day, along with using safer sex practices, can help lower my chances of getting HIV through sex.
I use condoms, but I talked to my doctor about doing more. He said that because I had a higher chance of getting HIV through sex, Truvada for PrEP could be an option for me.
She also told me that Truvada alone may not keep me from getting HIV, and it does not prevent other STIs or pregnancy.
You must be HIV negative to take Truvada for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking Truvada. I wanted to know about all of my prevention options, so I asked my doctor about Truvada for PrEP.
If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may do more tests to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems, kidney failure, and bone problems, which may lead to fractures. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney, bone, or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Truvada without talking to your doctor. Common side effects include stomach pain, headache, and weight loss. Ask your doctor about your risk of getting HIV and if Truvada for PrEP may be right for you.
I wanted to do more. That's why I'm on that pill. Truvada for PrEP.
See, and somebody said that they make it sound like heartburn, and yeah, this is why I want to play this commercial. Yeah, it really troubled me. Like it was like it's no big deal now, right? That's the thing, and this is my issue with. We're going somewhere with this. You know what I'm saying? We're an hour in, but I want y'all to see one thing. Let's go back and look at that chart again. Hold on 1 second. Guess who was missing from that commercial? The lowest person on here, white women. They know who they're selling to, right? That's why they made male to male black men the most popular, most prominent image in that commercial. You know what I'm saying? Then they had the Latino representative, you know what I'm saying, through the transgender person. Then they had the white male to male represented. Then they had the black woman heterosexual represented, because that's why they had the black woman with a black man. Bruh, this is by design, folks. This is by design, by the numbers. This is how they do this. They look at, okay, what's the stats? Okay, who's our number one? Who's our number one? Our number one people to sell to? Okay, that's who we're gonna target with the commercial. You see what I'm saying? But let's go even deeper. Hold on 1 second. Let's go even deeper. Here's another commercial. This is Devado. And listen to the name. Truvada, Devado. This is like your little cousin Devado. You know Devado, my little cousin. You know what I'm saying? Don't act like these names don't matter either. They gotta have stuff that resonates with the people they're trying to sell them to.
And there's more to me than HIV. There's my career, my cause, my choir. I'm a work in progress.
Wait a minute. Let's back that up. Wait a minute.
I'm Alfonso, and there's more to me than HIV. There's my career.
His career.
My cause.
His cause. Oh, there he is. There it is.
My choir.
And his choir. Let's keep going.
A work in progress. So much goes into who I am. HIV medicine is one part of it.
Prescription Devado is for adults who are
And look, notice they have the little non-threatening brother, got the bow tie on him. He's non-threatening. I mean, from the hair, if he wasn't on the facial hair, he could be, you know what I'm saying, whatever. He could go either, you know what I'm saying, it could be, you know, in either gender. And that's not important about it. But I'm just telling you, these medical companies, these pharmaceutical companies know how to sell to their audience. That's my point I'm making. And we're going somewhere with this.
Prescription Devado is for adults who are starting HIV-1 treatment and who aren't resistant to either of the medicines dolutegravir or lamivudine. Devado has 2 medicines in 1 pill to help you reach and then stay undetectable, so your HIV can be controlled with fewer medicines while taking Devado. You can take Devado any time of day, with food or without. Don't take Devado if you're allergic to any of its ingredients or if you take the phthalide. If you have hepatitis B, it can change during treatment with Devado and become harder to treat. Your hepatitis B may get worse or become life-threatening if you stop taking Devado. So do not stop Devado without talking to your doctor. Serious side effects can occur, including allergic reactions, liver problems, and liver failure. Life-threatening side effects include lactic acid buildup and severe liver problems.
And yeah, I'm letting the side effects play.
If you have a rash and other symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop taking Devado and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis B or C. One of the ingredients in Devado may harm your unborn baby. Your doctor may prescribe a different medicine than Devado. Your doctor should do a pregnancy test before starting Devado. Use effective birth control while taking Devado. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, nausea, trouble sleeping, and tiredness.
So much goes into who I am and hope to be. Ask your doctor if starting HIV treatment with Devado is right for you. I'm Alfonso.
And they act like it ain't no big deal. They act like it ain't no big deal. It's like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? But see, that's what I'm just putting things in perspective of how things seemed in the 1980s to now. You see what I'm saying? That's the only reason I played that. And then the show that they showed that they know their target audience. So now let's get back on the path where we were headed. That was just a quick aside that I wanted to go down. I'm running a little behind, so I'm push through right quick. Now, so it's amazing how knowing this, the information they do tell us is scare. But then there's pertinent information I think we should know. And when I say we, I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, the people that are hesitant or what do you want to say, pro-choice in this situation, right? But there's information that they don't want to tell us. And like I said, when I say I pay attention to everything, I pay attention to everything. So let's go ahead and get into this next one here. And I had to go over to AJ's channel. You know the one that can't be mentioned, Mr. Jones. I had to go over to his channel to find this. It doesn't include him, but just a warning. Let's see here. So this is Mike Adams talking to Dr. Richard M. Flemings. And this is scary. And I'm wondering why nobody's talking about this, because it seems like we should. Let's get into it. Y'all listen, pay very close attention. Now, stop typing for a second. I want y'all to listen to the conversation they're having. It's very important.
Yeah, well, that's definitely par for the course these days. And, you know, here you are now with incredible reach. I would just say be safe, watch your back. People like you and your work in particular is extremely important for the future of humanity. And I'm with you. I think we will overcome this as well. And I also think that medical choice and health freedom is now the greatest civil rights movement of our time, especially given that Black Americans are typically only about 1 in 4 are taking vaccines. And the CDC is talking about internment camps. Are they going to rip poor Black people out of their homes and put them in COVID camps? Really? Is that?
That's a good question. Say specifically, let's say Black people. But I'm saying anybody that chooses not to have it. But there is a even more hesitancy and reluctancy in our community to take this because of our previous experiences with the medical industry. Where does this end? And the reason why, that's exactly the reason why they have Donald Lemon pushing this. It's not a coincidence. I think the other one name's Tamarind Hall. Oh yeah, I got my eye on her too. She's heavy pushing this. That's why they had the what's his name? Tyler Perry pushing it. That's why they had whoever pushing it, you know. But let's let this ain't the good part yet. Let them finish. Wait till you hear this.
Is that coming to America? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, interestingly enough, Black more at risk for this virus, not because of the vitamin D, but because this virus has to attach to 5 different receptors to get in. You've heard a lot about ACE2 receptor, but the next one is called transmembrane protein series 2 or TMPRSS2.
A brother can't catch a break. Now I'm more likely to catch it. We already knew the health concerns, obesity, high blood pressure, the comorbidity, you know what I'm saying, those things were a concern. Got me stressed out. But now I got more receptors. Why can't we have good, I mean, like, for real, I mean, honestly. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is if this is true, this should be discussed. Is this true? And I ask this as a question. Is this true? Are we more susceptible to catching this because of certain receptors? I'm gonna play it back again so y'all can hear it. Man, you said it. I didn't, brother. Let's listen to it one more time.
And put them in COVID camps? Really? Is that coming to America? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, interestingly enough, Black
more at risk for this virus, not because of the vitamin D, but because this virus has to attach to 5 different receptors to get in. You've heard a lot about ACE2 receptor, but the next one is called transmembrane protein series 2 or TMPRSS2. And Black people have more of that in their nose than Asian people, who have more of it than white people, who have more of it than Jews do.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Did y'all just hear what he said? Because we got more receptors in our nose. We're more at higher chance to catch this. And this ain't some quack. I'm going to show you he's not some quack. Dr. Fleming is not some quack, because they had him on 2020, you know what I'm saying, back in the, I think in the late 80s, early 90s, as a respectable source of information. So I'm gonna let this clip finish, because it gets deeper.
Oh, okay, you just opened up a Pandora's box of
yeah, he did.
Debate and commentary on that, but we'll have to bring you back to talk about all of that. But wow, we're out of time. But Dr. Richard Fleming, thank you so much for your work. That Dr. Fleming just said in the last segment, it was kind of like, here, have this bomb, and then it was the break. He said that if you look at the ethnic breakdown of the receptors, the receptor sites in the nasal passages, and how they are different by
Chad, we can't catch a break. Maybe Michael Jackson was on to something. Y'all let me know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was on, like, hey, I'm gonna get these receptors down, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Our noses? Like, are you serious? Let's let him finish, though. I mean, he's going to show a graph of this.
Ethnicity, and which, of course, implies that this biological weapon may be...
I mean, bigger nose, bigger nasal. Cartoon. Hey. Look. What you say? It's more to do with your nasal cavity in your nose. So, bigger nose, bigger nasal cavity. And I laugh about this. This is gallows humor, but it's like, bruh, a brother can't catch a break. You got Don Lemon don't want brothers to get hospital treatment, don't want to work, don't want, you know what I'm saying? And now this? Now because of my bigger nose? They say y'all sucking up all this clean air with them big old nostrils. We got to get you out of here.
Targeting certain specific ethnic groups. I believe what he said, if I'm remembering correctly, was that Black Americans have the most receptors, which would mean they're the most vulnerable to this biological weapon. And I think he said Asian Americans, I guess it wouldn't have to be Americans, just Asians in general. And then I think he said white people or Caucasians. And then I think he said at the lowest level of these receptors, he said were people of Jewish ethnicity.
Surprise, surprise.
And I immediately knew all the online boards and message, discussion boards, social media is going to explode. So go ahead and do that. That's going to bring up a lot of discussion all over the place. But I then remembered that what Dr. Fleming said, I had seen that study about a year ago, and he's right. It is different. The vulnerability to the spike protein, including the shedding.
Hold on, let's go back. So obviously our wider nostrils, is this true? Look, I am not peddling this as fact. I'm asking the professionals, is this true? I want to, because look, inquiring minds want to know, is my big nostrils a threat to me? Is it? And look, don't don't let them find out you can get nose jobs and get it covered through your health insurance. There's gonna be some rhinoplasty going down in the building. Let's let them finish up.
The vulnerability to the spike protein, including the shedding, is different by ethnicity. And what this means is that if a black person has this spike protein vaccine, that that person could shed the spike protein and have a more devastating effect on spike protein damage to their relatives or loved ones or people that are they share their homes with, let's say, relatives, friends, spouses, children, whatever.
It's Ross said, plug them bad boys up. Hey, bro, now you looking at, hey, Big Elvis, you just missed that your nose might be, you're saying, be a big problem. You need to catch that on the playback. I'll just show you a little graphic representation of what they're saying here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can drop the needle on where I need to be at. Right here. Bam. They saying we have more receptors in our nose for the, for the problem to attach to, being that we're black. And I'm like, brother, can we catch a break? And what I want to know is this true? Get one of them nose. He said, bruh, it's bad enough I got to wear a mask. Now you want me to have a nose clamp? Are you serious? Am I going swimming here? Y'all got jokes now, dope play. But no, seriously, these are the kind of things we need to be talking about. Yeah, and look, I didn't understand that separation either. I don't understand that one either. What would make the difference? He said what? Yeah, that's crazy. Bruh, all I want to know, is it true? Somebody get Fauci on the phone. I need answers ASAP. And I'm gonna say this. I apologize for the cussing. But we ain't got no time to be playing with people. If he had something to say, he should have came up here. I gave him an opportunity to come up here. I apologize for that because some of y'all might have your kids watching. But I mean, we ain't got time to be playing. He out here saying all that crazy stuff, but he playing. We don't got no time for that. This is serious. But let's just go to show you. I'm going to show y'all that Dr. Fleming is the one that raised this point, was a credited source at one time. Let's go ahead and hop into this 2020 clip. Let's see here. Start drop it right there. This is him on 2020 ABC. Authoritative source of data. Allegedly.
Wrong, so I don't think there's anything wrong.
Lucky for Regina, her next stop was cardiologist Dr. Richard Fleming, author of Stop Inflammation Now.
I want to take a listen to your heart and lungs.
He routinely tests blood for...
Now there goes Dr. Fleming right there. There he is. That's Dr. Fleming right there. ABC 2020. Bam. Right? Trusted source. Let's just listen to him talk for a few minutes. I'm just playing this as a background clip or as a source clip to say he's not some kook that was pulled out in the woods somewhere. At one time, he was trusted by the mainstream.
Signs of inflammation.
Right, Flemings. You caught that too, Flemings, right? Yeah, right. He said my brother caught COVID and I didn't because he has a wider nose and are remarkable. And you know what? I always got jokes because I have a narrower nose, you know what I'm saying, than most people in my family. But who's laughing now? I'm just playing. I'm just joking. We need some gallows humor here just to lighten the mood for a minute. But let's listen to Dr. Flemings and how they see him as a reliable source back then.
In coronary arteries. When Regina tested positive, he also did a high-tech nuclear stress test to get a better picture of her heart. What he saw was alarming.
We clearly had information that there was inflammation going on and that we needed to treat it.
The blood test is known as the CRP test. It's simple and it's cheap. CRP stands for C-reactive protein. which is a protein made in our body in response to any kind of inflammation. There's a supersensitive.
All right, so do we trust him or not? You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get too deep in that clip, but I just want to show you that at one time he was a trusted source of the mainstream media. So now let's keep moving on. Hold on. He said you trying to get socked by your family. Hey, maybe we make it swell up. No, I'll get something. They might damage my receptors. Who knows? Dang, Jay. Man. All right. Thank you, Deep. Hey, look, and I want to give a shout out to Deep Impressions. He's always active in promoting the channel, the Cash App. I appreciate you, brother, for the hard work that you do. Always doing that. And as you know, this is a value for value. I just want to take this time out. This is value for value content. This is a value for value channel. I don't take any money from YouTube. I only take money from producers and supporters of the channel. So if you find it in your heart or in your wallet, you want to support, you know what I'm saying? Please show value if you find value in the show. Speaking of which, Tyree Amir, this brother is very talented. Y'all go check out his Instagram. Super talented brother on the musical tip, and we might have some things in the works. So y'all stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Mo always moving, like duck feet. GBG, appreciate it. That's value for value too. But yeah, let's go ahead and get back to where were we at? Okay, we stopped at Dr. Fleming's being validated. All right, so this is another question. Just a question. Let's get into this next clip. And like I said, I'm not making any claims with this. Let me be clear for YouTube. YouTube, I'm not making any medical claims. I am asking as a concerned citizen, especially of a concerned demographic, are these things that's being presented in this video true? We need medical officials to come out and say, I'm saying this is what Don Lemon should be doing. He should be interviewing these people and bringing knowledge to the table, not shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right. So let's go ahead and get into this next clip. And this is should COVID immunity be an exemption? Be an exception for vaccine mandate. And who this is, let me give you a little background on who this is. This is, I think his name is Zigwicki. He's suing George Mason, which is right up the road from me, because he says that you shouldn't have to get the Vaseline if you already had, you know what I'm saying, the Rona. So let's just see, let's just listen to him for a few minutes. It's not going to be long. But just a very fascinating conversation he having. Let's see here. The Cash App and the PayPal are both Moe Factz. MoeFactz. Let me pin that. I think the brother Deep Impressions had it. Let me keep that up there for a minute, just so you can see that's the Cash App, and then also for the PayPal is Moe Factz as well. Let's go ahead and get into this next clip, because I want y'all to hear about this. Like I said, is this true? I only have questions. I have more questions than I have answers on this one. Let's listen.
Your view is more nuanced. Explain.
And look, this is on CNN. This is on CNN, and this is a more nuanced, and that's why I like it. It's a nuanced take. Dr. Ziz, I think it's Zigwicki, if I'm not mistaken, is how I pronounce his last name. But let's just listen to him.
Yeah, let me make clear, Michael. If a vaccine had been around in March 2020 when I got COVID, I would have gotten vaccinated. COVID is no fun. I'm not joking about. I don't want to get COVID again, and I don't want to risk anybody around me getting COVID. Well, my argument here is that that what the evidence clearly shows is that natural immunity is as protective, provides at least as much protection against infection as the most effective vaccines, and clearly provides more protection than less effective vaccines such as the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is that natural immunity is estimated to have about a 90 to 95% protection level, which is similar to the top vaccines. Johnson & Johnson, for example, is only 66%. And so the second thing is that if you've had recovered from COVID and you get vaccinated, you don't just have the same risk of side effects as everybody else. You actually have an increased risk of side effects because of the risk of hyperinflammation. So what I'm saying to the university is, we're not challenging their right to be worried about immunity and protecting the community. What I am saying is, though, you do not have you have to have a good reason to discriminate between two different forms of immunity, both of which provide protection.
On the same day that you published thoughts along the lines of what you've just said here on CNN, you did it in the Wall Street Journal. On that same day, Dr. Walensky, the head of the CDC, specifically said that someone in your position should get vaccinated.
Yes, and here's the...
They need to get their story straight. That's all I'm going to say. They need to get their story straight because, look, he makes a valid point. If you already have it and you have immunity, which they say, and I'm going to say that you have immunity, I'm just going to leave it at that. Why is that not taken into consideration when you're being mandated? So I'm just going to just leave it at that. But is this true? I'll ask again. And instead of Don Lemon throwing his fits, why don't he bring this doctor on and have a conversation with him? Why don't he bring Dr. Flemings on and have a conversation with him, talking about how black people are more, have a higher chance of contracting the Rona? These are things that we could be talking about. But no, they don't want to do that. They want to shame, insult, guilt. Need to be right. Well, I ain't having it. All right, so now we're here. Now we're coming down the home stretch. There was a question raised was, how far would they take it? Right? We can't let them go under. This is content. This is content at the end of the day. I mean, they make the most fascinating content unintentionally. That's the crazy thing about it. I mean, they couldn't do it intentionally if they tried. But it's amazing what they do, man. With all that said, I think his name was Mike Adams asked, how far will they take it? Well, let's just see how far they'll take it. This is how far they'll take it.
32 exclusive tonight. A mother says that a Cook County judge has taken away her parental rights after learning that she's not vaccinated.
Dane Placco is live at Daily Plaza with this story. Dane?
That's how far they'll take it. That's how far they will take it. Took away her parental rights because she didn't have the Vaseline. Is it ding? Ding? Is it registering now? Wow. Let's continue.
Yeah, and what all parties agree is a very unusual, if not unprecedented step. A Cook County judge here at the Daily Center has stripped a Chicago mom of her parenting time because she's refused to get the COVID vaccination shot.
I miss my son more than anything. It's been very difficult. I haven't seen him since August 10th.
August 10th, that's the day Rebecca Furlid appeared in court via Zoom along with her ex-husband for a child support hearing involving their 11-year-old son. Now, the two share custody or had shared custody and parenting time 50-50. She says out of the blue, Cook County Judge James Shapiro asked her whether she'd been vaccinated. She told him no, she had not because she's had bad reactions to vaccines.
Exactly. And like I said, if they do this to white women, and the reason why, and not just white, but women, if the family courts would go this far to take a white woman's parental abilities or rights away over the Vaseline, they're willing to go all the way. And I'm glad you brought up that point. And the ex-husband wasn't even asking for this. The judge was like, bam, here you go. Don't want to get it? All right. Let's go.
Vaccines in the past. Judge Shapiro then ordered that she be stripped of all parenting time with her son until she gets vaccinated. Over the past 2 weeks, she's been able to talk to him on the phone and via video call, but she has not seen her son in person. Furlet is now appealing that order, saying the judge has no business taking away her parenting rights simply because she's not vaccinated.
I think it's wrong. It had nothing to do with what we were talking about, and he was placing his views on me and taking my son away from me.
But in this case, you have a judge without any matter before him regarding the parenting time of the child deciding, oh, you're not vaccinated, you don't get to see your child until you are vaccinated. That kind of exceeds his jurisdiction.
Now, we talked to the attorney representing the father, Jeffrey Leving. You'll be hearing from him next hour. He says they were as surprised by this as anyone, but they support that decision by the judge, saying that given the pandemic, the child should be protected from an unvaccinated mother. We also reached out to the judge and the chief judge's office. They say they cannot comment on this case because it is ongoing. Live at the Daily Center, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Okay, so I have a follow-up clip. Isn't that crazy, though? It had nothing to do with the case. But see, they do this to stretch out the limits. Remember I was talking, I don't know if y'all remember when I was talking about the Overton window. They're expanding their powers right now. They're further and further stretching their powers, further and further stretching their powers. So it'll be normal. They're normalizing it, what they're doing. Right? But it's crazy, man. Yeah, it was updated, but I'm getting, yeah, and they finally did the right thing. But let's get into the second clip here.
To exclusive. Tonight, a mother says that a Cook County judge took away her parental rights after learning she's not vaccinated.
Dane Placco is at Daily Plaza with details on this story. Dane?
It may be a first-of-its-kind case. A Cook County judge here at the Daily Center has stripped a Chicago mom of her parenting rights because she's refused to get the COVID vaccine.
And he is a very sweet boy. He's my whole world.
You miss him?
I miss him more than anything.
Rebecca Furlet has been divorced for 7 years and shares custody of her 11-year-old son with her ex-husband. What had been a 50-50 split in parenting time. But on August 10th, in an unrelated child support hearing, Cook County Judge James Shapiro asked Furlet whether she'd been vaccinated. When she told the judge no because she's had bad reactions to vaccines in the past, Judge Shapiro stripped Furlet of all of her parenting time until she agrees to get vaccinated.
I think that it's wrong. I think that it's dividing families, and I think that it's not in my son's best interest to be away from his mother.
Furlet is now asking the appellate court to stay the judge's order, her attorney saying the judge has overstepped his authority.
You have to understand, the father did not even bring this issue before the court. So it's the judge on his own making this decision that you can't.
And I'm going to say this as a father myself. That father is weak sauce. Straight up weak sauce. I don't care what you and see. This is another. I know people are gonna be frustrated at me on one side. Well, they say, Mo, they've been doing it for years. They've been taking all right, bruh. It still don't make it right. It still don't make it right for one parent to lose their right to their child over some bull crap. Doesn't make it right. You see how that works? Because this is that binary thing, binary trap they want to get us in. Well, they've done it to us for years. Let's do it back to them. It's the same thing. It's like one way or the other, and they keep stretching and keep stretching. And what you have to realize is the people that's in real power are what you call Fabian socialists. That's who they're, the real power. And it's not about force with them. They'll give you options and let you choose your own demise. That way they can say, you chose it. You asked for it. Hold on, Jay. Jay said the judge had retracted his decision, though. Right. It was never, he knew it wouldn't stand. This is meant to make headlines to normalize it. He knew he was going to have to rescind it. He knew he was going to catch a bunch of flack, Stephen. But the point was they did this to normalize it or get it out into the conversation. And to prove that, I have another clip here of another mother losing her custody. And I'll show you that they're doing this to normalize it. Here we go.
Outcome for Rebecca Bordeaux. She spent 5 days in jail for refusing to have her 9-year-old son vaccinated. And today she was expecting to reunite with her son and bring him home. But that didn't happen. Let's get to Local 4's Rod Maloney. He was there in the courtroom this morning. And Rod, what happened during the hearing?
Well, first off, we found out that the young man, the 9-year-old boy, did get his vaccinations on Monday. He got 4 of them, the polio, MMR2, pertussis, and varicella vaccinations. His father saw to it while mom was in jail. She got out on Monday. She was supposed to serve 7 days. She had good time. She was then freed on Monday. But he got those vaccinations. And then this has had sort of a cascading effect for mom, because what happened in court today was that they have changed the custody arrangement for the child. Now, the boy has been with his mother for the first 9 years of his life, dad having occasional visits a couple of times a month and then on a Wednesday night. But a referee was assigned to the case. The referee said that she thought that there should be joint custody, 50-50, and the judge agreed with that. And so as it stands right now, mom has lost half of the custody that she had prior to this vaccination case. And so we spoke with her after the courthouse session today, and this is what she had to say. Basically, she was devastated.
Today was supposed to be a review on the vaccinations. I wasn't expecting to lose, primary custody of my son today, so I apologize. I don't have much to say. I still need to talk with my lawyers. I'm just, I feel a little spun around right now. I'm in shock.
Hold on, sophisticated. That's the desired reaction they want you to have. See, sometimes we got to be careful about having the desired reaction people want us to have. You see what I'm saying? I mean, just be careful of that, because that's what they, oh yeah, F them. Take the kids. That's what they deserve. Family court been doing this for men for years. So if they've been doing it to us for years and it's been wrong, shouldn't we question the court? Shouldn't we question the court? But look, you got to catch this. Hold on, let's finish this one.
I was expecting to get him home today, so I'm a little upset.
And then I asked her about her time in jail. She spent 5 days, and what her reaction to that was is that it was the worst 5 days of her life, except for the fact that she's now lost half the custody of her son. She also said that the conditions inside the Oakland County Jail are terrible. She's angry and upset about all of this situation, and it's one of those things where she's going home now because she said she doesn't have much else to do. She'll be able to pick up her son tomorrow and start the new joint custody agreement. Back to you.
And Rod, what about the father? Did he have anything to say today?
No, he was not talking. His attorney was not talking. And in essence, what they're saying is that they believe this case got entirely too much publicity. They don't like the fact that it got publicity and that the boy's name got put out there. They were feeling very frustrated.
And I'll stop it right there. And here's the punchline of this clip. This is from 2008, folks. 2018, folks. This is from 2018, folks. And I know, bro, I get it. 'Cause I got a lot of friends that's been drugged through the family court. I get it. You won't have to tell me. I'm a big supporter of men's rights and how family court, you know what I'm saying, is not in the favor of men. But what we have to do is we can't take our, and this is the perfect microcosm for what we're talking about. We're focusing all our attention on the two binary sides of it and not the person in the middle playing them off of each other. It's the family court that's playing the two parties off of each other. They show one side preferential treatment. Now they're going to come back to the other side showing preferential treatment. And they know at the end of the day, the last line of defense is going to be the mother when they come to harm those children. So this is a preemptive strike against the last line of defense being the mother for saying no. Because when mama say no, you see what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying to the ladies, y'all are our number one asset in pushing back against the BS. Because we got y'all back. We just need y'all to be vocal. Especially when it's women on women rights, like what Sophisticated's pointed out. We'll have your back. Yeah, I know a little something about the Fabian Society. Yeah, they the one pull the strings at the end of the day. But yeah, this is from 2018, folks. This has been in the plans. Miguel said, let's see. I'm going through family court hell right now because I'm trying to be a father. And that's true. And you know what? They harass the fathers that really try the most. They are draining my pockets and making me take therapy to prove I'm a good father after the mom lied on my name. Right. So, see, yeah, that's what we want. Exactly. But I'm sure you have plenty of evidence to prove, you know what I'm saying, to the contrary, but it's the court that wants to make you work for it. Because at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. So you see they're taking away people's freedoms, right? For their choices. Well, this is the last clip right here. And this blows me away, right? This blew me right here. You think it's bad enough they're taking away your freedoms for your choices? How about if they take away you actually having freedom?
I don't plan on getting it. I don't want it. So for him to tell me that I have to get it in order for me to not violate my probation is crazy.
This week, a Hamilton County judge ordered a man to get the COVID-19 vaccine as a condition of his probation. The WCPO9 I-Team first broke this story here at 6 last night. Well, now, Judge Christopher Wagner explains why he issued that order. Here is Chief Investigative Reporter Craig Cheatham with the latest.
He asked me, was I vaccinated? I told him no.
On Thursday, 21-year-old Brandon Rutherford told us
Let me stop it right there. Y'all see what's going on now? He can't even get order of his probation. So if they're doing this with probation, what are they doing with the prisoners? The people that lose their human rights when they become a prisoner. Nobody's talking about this. At least not on large platforms. Nobody's talking about this. Are the people in jail being forced vaccinated? Are the people in prison being forced vaccinated? Is that a condition of their release to get the Vaseline? These are questions. Only questions. I only have questions. I'm not making any claims, but I would like to know. I think we all would like to know. This is crazy. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing is like, Because you know when you go to jail, you lose all your rights. They can work you as much as they want to for as little as they want to. So at the same time, you become property, state property. Shout out to Seagulls. Shout out to Freeway. Shout out to PD Crack. But you become state property. Right. Who owns your body when you're in jail? You feel what I'm saying? But then if I was a extremist, like the brother that was just in here that we don't even remember her name anymore, why is it, I could be like, they shouldn't have went to jail. Don't go to jail if you don't want to be like this. Don't be on probation. He deserved what he got coming to him. Probably was a knucklehead. Fits him right. This is what he deserved. You see how that goes? You see how that goes? See how hard-hearted we can be? See where a hard heart gets us? Because at the end of the day, we're judged by the same standards we set for other people. I'm going to say that one more time. We are judged by the same standards that we set for other people. Now, this young man might get caught up on a weed charge or whatever else. Now, a condition of his probation is to take the Vaseline over some trumped up charge. There probably ain't even a crime no more. I don't know what his case is. I'm just saying. That could be the likelihood of it. Right. So let's go ahead and finish this clip. This is crazy. I'm going to run this back from the beginning because this is so crazy. It's only a couple minutes long. But I want y'all to hear this in full context.
I don't plan on getting it. I don't want it. So for him to tell me that I have to get it in order for me to not violate my probation is crazy.
This week, a Hamilton County judge ordered a man to get the COVID-19 vaccine as a condition of his probation. The WCPO 9 team first broke this story here at 6 last night. Well, now Judge Christopher Wagner explains why he issued that order. Here is Chief Investigative Reporter Craig Cheatham with the latest.
He asked me, was I vaccinated? I told him no.
On Thursday, 21-year-old Brandon Rutherford told us a Hamilton County judge ordered him to get the COVID vaccine within 60 days as a condition of Rutherford's probation.
I don't plan on getting it. I don't want it. So for him to tell me that I have to get it in order for me to not violate my probation is crazy, because I'm just trying to do what I can to get off this as quickly as possible, like finding a job and everything else. But that little thing can set me back.
According to a court transcript of that Wednesday hearing, Judge Christopher Wagner told Rutherford, "I'm just a judge, not a doctor, but I think the vaccines..."
I'm just a judge, not a doctor. That should have been the end of the conversation right there. Let's wind it back a little bit. But even he knows. But see, I'm telling you, this is stretching out that power. Stretching out that power. It never contracts. It never constricts. Only stretches to new limits.
Hearing, Judge Christopher Wagner told Rutherford, "I'm just a judge, not a doctor, but I think the vaccine's a lot safer than fentanyl, which is what you had in your pocket." Then the judge ordered Rutherford to get vaccinated.
Oh, he had fentanyl. Interesting. Which that's a whole nother can of worms right there. What's going on with that and how people are dying from that. That's a whole epidemic in itself. So I don't understand, like, I mean, is that punishment? Is he punishing him? I don't get it. Let's finish up.
For COVID-19 as a condition of Rutherford's probation. Wagner said, "So you're going to maintain employment? You're not going to be around a firearm. I'm going to order you within the next 2 months to get a vaccine and show that to the probation office. Okay?" Carl Lewis is Rutherford's attorney.
I was taken aback because again, when you hear that, you're like, whoa, I don't think the judges within their powers to do that.
On Friday, Judge Wagner issued a statement to the I-Team, saying in part, the court's responsibility when issuing a community control sanction is to rehabilitate the defendant and protect the community. Judges make decisions regularly.
Right, it's a punishment. Hold on, what? It's a punishment. Wow, they even said themselves. And right, and we know where the fentanyl is coming from. So that's the wrap on the clips. I'll say this in closing. Be careful of hard-heartedness. And I think maybe she went too far up, but Judy S. made a good observation and an excellent question as well. She says, I wonder if the rise of hard hearts correlates with the rise of heart health issues. And you know what? I will say this from personal experience. When I get angry, your chest hurts. You know what I'm saying? Or when somebody like hurts you, you know, they say heartache, you know what I'm saying, it broke your heart. Our body parts, I believe, I'm not a doctor, but correlate like your stomach, you know what I'm saying, you know, nervousness and things are affected by that. I think your heart, when it hardens, you feel it. So that's a very good question, Judy asked, is the fact that does our attitudes have effect on our health itself? And what we need to do is, one, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Two, ask ourselves, are we speaking to reach? Are we speaking to be right? And then if we are speaking to be right, are we using sign language? Are we using shame, insult, guilt, need to be right? Shame, insults, and guilts in that pursuit of needing to be right when we speak. See how all those things correlate? But if you come in it as with nuance to humanize a person, you're going to seek first to understand, then to be understood. Then you can gain common ground, and hopefully you can experience a win-win between you and that person. A win for you is not necessarily a loss for them. It can be a win-win. So with all that said, is there any other comments before I wrap up here? That's my show for tonight. I find it very troubling for a person like Donald Lemon to go on television to say the things that he said, especially knowing from our community that we share, me and him share, that being the so-called black community, our distrust or our lack of trust for what we're saying for the medical industry. And then I appreciate that, Jay. Y'all have a good night. If you're signing out, and at the same time, for him had to have such a hard heart when he's part of another community, the alphabet community, that has been demonized, and faced with hatred, faced with, all kind of things that, is that Tiger Auntie? Hey, what's up, Tiger Auntie? But yeah, faced with all kind of things that hatred and things of that nature, the alphabet community has faced, but then he puts that off on other people. And like I said again, I appreciate everybody coming out. I know it's getting late. Remember, this is a value production. We have the Cash App, which is $Moe Factz, and then we also have the PayPal, which is mofactz@gmail.com. And you can also go to MoFundMe. That's I'll put that in the chat. That's www.mofactz, MoeFactz.com. All right. And so if you would like to contribute there. I don't want to put myself in timeout. I want to pin it to the top. But anyway, please show, your appreciation. If you found value in this presentation, in this show, please show value back. I'm going to be doing another show sometime this week as well, to talk about the Cosby thing in deeper. Yep. That's right. We need to build our Knights and Dames community. That's right. That's right. Let's see. One last question. It says, Mo, do you think we'll be seeing the commercials for If You Were Someone? Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not, because I mean, I don't know how that will work when they have, when they're not, when they're able to shirk responsibility. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. I appreciate you all, coming here. This is just as helpful for me to, get out some of my frustrations that I'm having. I'm definitely going through some things right now. On the front, this subject is near and dear to my heart. I'll be having more to talk about later on about what's going on with me. But with that said, as I always say, pay attention to everything and the truth will reveal itself. Good night.